Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. We are playing Rising Star 2 with our band Anyone But Andy. And one thing I wanted to see if I can do, probably should have tested this before I started the episode, but let's take a look. We can decorate the house a little bit. We can add pictures, real pictures that we pull in. I want to see if, now I haven't purchased any. All right. Well, I'm not seeing where there's a way you can bring in, you can import stuff. I'm just not seeing it right now. I'll figure that out and get back to you. But ultimately, there's 4 categories of things that we can put on walls. That includes instruments. And we right-click to place them. And then we can kind of look and see if that's where we want it before we finalize putting it there. Enter in this game. And that'll hang there on the wall for us. When we come back into our house, we'll see it. What I have been doing is I've been putting this picture that I created right here. That's kind of my main band logo. So I'm going to need to remember how I got that in there to begin with. It's not coming to me right now. And once I've got that figured out, we'll come back and revisit that. Okay. Back to the grind. I think we did not do another job. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of those mowing jobs. And like I said, the reason I kind of like doing those is it's just quick money. Let's see what that looks like real quick. Actually, let's see where the cemetery is. It is way down in the southwest corner. When you visit a cemetery, it tells you if there's anybody there that you know, which suggests that you might have band members that die or maybe managers or something like that. I don't know. I've never actually seen it happen, though. Now, the entrance to the cemetery is always at the bottom of the cross. And you just kind of do that and you landscape. You might have noticed it said there, you don't know anyone at the cemetery. And this is the lawn mowing graphic, folks. If that's going to be your primary way of earning money before you start to make it as a band, get used to it. The good news is it only lasts, like 4 seconds there, and then you're off doing whatever else you want. So down here is where it says, you don't know anyone buried at the cemetery. Okay. Like I said, I've never seen it say anything other than that, although I've never had a band member die. They do get sick, by the way. We do have to go visit the hospital sometimes, which is in the opposite corner. That's interesting. But you can also see we have mowed the cemetery. We have mowed this park. By the way, we can rename all of these. Just like that. It is now Faust Park. We can name this. Of course, you probably want to spell things right. Is that right? I can't even remember. I think that's correct. If it's wrong, please forgive me. I don't know. I'm having one of those days. All right. But we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go home. Merge some song parts. By the way, that day that I did go practice to practice without doing anything in between, I did lose the opportunity to merge some song parts. That's just something to consider. It's all risk-reward kind of stuff in this game. You make decisions and decide a path, and then you just kind of have to decide if you're willing to live with the results of that. Real quick, something that caught my attention is we only have 3 attitudes that are positive and 3 that are negative, and I think the reason is technology is a negative attitude right now outside of Missouri. There's probably some other states where it's positive as well, but where we're at, this is what we see. So maybe what we'll do real quick after we practice tonight is go to Illinois, try to schedule a show somewhere and see what is popular there. So I am going to do some spontaneities, and we are out of song pieces. We'll go ahead and practice. But I kind of want to mix it up a little bit. If you have all your songs or Hometown Pride, and next month Hometown Pride is not something people are interested in, that can be really painful, particularly if you have a whole bunch of shows already booked. You do need to pay attention to that. Let's go ahead and let's do like 3 low songs that we're behind on. I guess these would be the 3 lowest. Okay. Everybody got a little bit of experience. Let's go to Illinois. So we can do that just by clicking on the map and picking where we want to go. I like to go to Carbondale. It's close. Springfield isn't so bad either. Carbondale's just a little bit larger, although I don't think it's noticeable inside the game. And here we are. It is a 3x3 city. You can see there is a park and a cemetery. The hospital is right in the middle. And then there are a few places we might be able, well, let's look at the bigger map, although I guess it's not that much bigger. There's a few places we could potentially play some music, including Aiden's Watering Hole. This would be great, but it's a theater because it'd be easy to get to is what I'm thinking. And the Sufficient Line, so that's mid-tier. The Short Look, mid-tier. Aaron's Bar and Grill and Aiden's Watering Hole. Why don't we head up that way? Also, you might notice these are homes that are for sale. There's one right here. And we could go look at that real quick. Now, we have pretty much no money. But we can look at a home, and this is a different style. I think this is like the second tier home. There's a couple that are pretty similar. This is the music room. It's a little bigger, you'll notice, but it just gives you something different to look at and to decorate. Now, I personally like the second to largest house is kind of my favorite. It just feels like where a musician would live to me. I don't know. But that's what you can do. You can buy the house. As you can see, we are nowhere near having the funds to buy this particular house. All right, let's go look at those bars and see what we might be able to do. We also want to look at the attitudes, and we could do that right now. We could stop the van and look and see what the yin and yang symbol is telling us. But I'm going to drive recklessly to this other bar. Believe it or not, that wasn't all on purpose. There we go. And we're in Aaron's Bar. Now, I usually start walking forward even before it finishes loading. Sometimes you're off kilter because you're coming from there and kind of sends you that way. That's the saying they say a lot. I hate that saying. Well, I don't hate it. It's just it's overused. So we can do opening slots the next couple of days. We're really not ready for that, but let's see what else they have. Well, look at that. Next week they have a Battle of the Bands, and we're doing a Battle of the Bands. Maybe we should go ahead and book that. We won't get paid for it. It's exposure, but it also starts to let us know where we are in comparison to all of the others. Now, this one pays a little differently, you'll notice, but here's that range I was talking about. Our popularity has to be 0 to 199, 1.99. This is a small venue. So we'll be competing with bands of similar size, things like that, or popularity anyway, and it will be a small draw. But let's go ahead and enter that. Like I said, that's kind of my favorite thing to do, particularly once you start winning them. That just seems fun. But let's also look real quick while we're here at the things that are popular and not popular. And I'm a little surprised here. I really thought we were going to see... Oh yeah, technology is listed there. I don't know what I was looking for. Technology is a negative right now. And it looks like Hometown Pride. Oh, Hometown Pride is already a positive everywhere. We know that. So Illinois just happens to be doubling down on that. I don't believe there's any difference in how it scores, but it might be something to pay attention to. So two states next to each other both have local attitudes that mimic national attitudes. That's interesting. All right. We're going to go ahead and leave, and we're going to go home. We want to practice. We have to be at home in order to do things like practice. Well, that's really the main one, come to think of it. The ability to write a song, you can do that at a hotel. You can write songs when you're on the road. You can't practice while you're on the road. But anyway, we're going to hit map. We're just going to click on St. Louis and drive. $25 in gas. If you're moving from, further apart, city to city, if we were going to LA, it would probably give us an option to drive to Chicago, fly to LA. LA has an airport as well. So just something to know. I usually do the driving because we're staying fairly local for now. And we're in our residence. And we're going to merge song ideas. We're up to 43 points that we can do. We are going to want to start visiting some shows to earn more ideas. Maybe we'll do that tonight before practicing. And yeah, we should be up. We've got a 15 now. Oops, we're out of points though. That does happen pretty quickly. You start doing those big ones. There's a, there's the theory where you do the big things first and then it leaves space for the small things. And that is really important to consider when you're doing this. One consideration for that though is once you've run out of those small things, if you passed on a big thing, you may leave points on the table that you didn't mean to. It does happen. So there's a kind of this, there's probably a sweet spot where you do a certain number of low ones and then you start working on big ones again. I don't know. I tend to try to do them lowest to highest, and I don't get my head wrapped around it too much to worry. But do know there's different strategies you could employ that are different than what I'm trying here. So, all right, let's go out and find a show. Well, there's only one, and it is at a theater, so it's going to be a little expensive. Theater shows cost more. It'll be closer to 200 total. I don't think it'll hit that, but it'll be like 146 or something. Let's go see. But we get to see what a theater show will look like once we start doing those. And we are going to want to hit music stores soon and see if there's new stuff we can add to improve our playing and things like that. So you'll notice we don't have a go in. We basically have watch the show. We can also see the calendar and we can see who's coming. Okay, so the Quiet Snakes have 2 shows here coming up. That's interesting. You don't see that too often. Let's go ahead and watch it. This is a much larger venue, as you can see. And we don't have to watch a whole lot of it. You do have to watch a little piece of it, but there we go. And look at all the new song ideas. 10, 16 new song ideas amongst everybody. That is great. Also, somebody leveled. You might have heard that sound. Happiness went up, although our band is pretty happy. Inspiration was improved, and we lost $140. That was the cost of admission. So, all right. Well, Angel leveled. Let's go ahead and go home, and then we will deal with that. And as I said, the first thing I'm going to do this time, and that's probably the only time you'll see me do that, but I'm going to drive that up. If I can add 5 points of practice, in the next few days per night, that will be very, very helpful. Helps us get those songs up and keep them up. So we're going to practice. And we could do the quick math, 33. What's that? That becomes 57, 82, 108 points. Divide that by 2 is 54. Divide it by 2 is 27, right? So I think we're doing 27 points total. So we could do 3 songs and maximize our points. Let's go ahead and do that. So we should see 9 points go up on each of these. This should go to 55, 34. Yep, there we go. Okay. Anything interesting to see here? Not yet. We still are practicing these. We got a little time yet where we're going to be working on them. We still are more than a week away from having 7 songs perfect, but we only need 6 songs. That is something to consider. I might stop rehearsing the lowest one just to allow us to be better at the ones that we're going to end up playing. Now, we are going to be coming up on a month change where the attitudes could change. We really hope that none of them that we've written songs for will suddenly be negative, but we will want to pay attention to that. I'm just going to merge some of those song ideas. Let's see if we got any. Yeah, so you can see we have some new red ideas, new riffs, because we didn't have any that matched before, and now we do. I do tend to try to get a balance of the parts that I'm upgrading at any particular time so that I can kind of, I don't know, it feels to me that I have a better average chance of increasing the average quality of songs early on. Later on, you should get to a point where you can write all of the 100-point quality songs that you want. It takes a while to get there, but it is something that you do get to eventually. Okay, we could do some 10s if we have any. I don't see any. So we'll do a couple more 6s and then some 3s. If there are any, I'm not seeing any here right now. I have a lot of trouble telling which ones are wiggling after a while. I'm assuming that that's kind of common and probably intentional, that it becomes a little bit blurry. There are a few tools you can use to adjust it. You can switch it so that it's only a specific musician. You can switch what pieces you see based on quality. As you can see, they go from 1 to 35. But it's still a wall of these things that are or are not wiggling, and that, I don't know, it's a little deceptive to me. I don't always see them, but there we go. Let's go practice. Let's do some songs that we are more successful with right now. I think let's drop criticize for now. Let's just do the other 6 until we've got them as good as we can get them. All right, 2 more members leveled up, which means we'll be getting a few more points. So if we think about that for a second, we should be getting 2 1/4 additional points if we do all playing for them. And then the only one who hasn't done that yet is Topher. So from then on, I will do a little bit more balanced selection. We do want stage presence. That's what helps you, well, that's what helps you win fans. Come back out here to write a song and merge. We have a 15 now. Have a few 6s. We'll go with the 16. We're down to 5 points, so I can only do 1s. I can do 2 groups of 1. Here's 1. And here's another. Okay, well, we're out of points. Let's go practice. You know what? We could go and do another show tonight, and almost everything should have something going on. Tonight. There you go. Let's go check out the Battle of the Bands at Barbara's Watering Hole. So if we click this when it is the current day, it'll basically set a waypoint for us. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll go outside. You can see it's right up here. And it gives us the nice arrow at the top of the screen there to show us which ways to turn to get there. Okay, we're almost there. Got a gig coming up in 2 weeks. And we're in Barb's Watering Hole. Now we can talk to the bartender again, but I think we have something scheduled here. We do not. So we would be able to schedule another slot, and we would be opening for folks. Here's one that would pay us $71. Here's 171. So it looks like that's the going rate for our band rate. Oh, 36 for this one. And it also has to do with how many bands are playing. That's something to note as well. If there's 4 bands playing, you're going to get paid a lot less than if there's just one. I think that's far enough out. I want to kind of hold off for now. Let's just watch the show and enjoy ourselves. She's telling us that the band tonight is great. And we are not seeing any thought bubbles over folks here. So let's go ahead and do this. Go to the show. It is a battle of the bands, so we'll kind of see how some of that works too. We haven't even gotten to the part where we play songs yet. We're almost there. One more week, and we will have that going on for us. But so everybody got 2 song ideas for being here. There was a winner. Our happiness and inspiration went up, but here we got reputation with the venue as well as with some of the bands. And then we also spent money. That's the downside. But there you have it. So now if we were to go, I don't think we can go back in here right now. Yeah, they're closed. So we'll go ahead and just head home, and we will do some more practice. Let's go ahead and do those songs one more time. This was at 80, and now it's going to be at, it's saving. Yeah, it saves going from Saturday to Sunday. So we went up 10 points. We're doing 30 points right now. That's good. And this is a triple experience day, so let's capitalize on that. It's another Sunday. Seems to happen early on here, it feels like. But the first thing I like to do when those days come along is I go and do repair. And as you can see, I probably need to hit a music store and get some things actually repaired. That's getting dangerously low. These are the busking instruments, so we're not using them as much right now. We have kind of stopped doing the busking, although there's nothing wrong with continuing doing it. I want to kind of be careful and monitor my popularity, though. I don't want it to go up too fast too quickly. So let's have Chad try to, or Angel's who's selected. She's going to try to repair Grandpa's djembe. I guess djembe is what we say, right? Hey, and she succeeded and got a skill in repair. And you'll notice it is now at 22. Although I'm not sure I remember where it started. And then we'll do the same with Topher. Now he leveled up, he's got 7 song ideas. He leveled up strictly from the experience that he's earning there. Let's go ahead and change that. I prefer not to get him to 0, although we already have a few that are. And Kiwi is going to work on this. We cannot work on them if they're 0. I don't believe. Yeah, we get that message. It's beyond our repair. Take it to a music store. We'll work on this. And as you can see, they damage it as they mess up and fail to fix it. So we're going to need to go and take care of that. Let's level him up. He's the last one that we want it to do this with. 5 skill points. And so we're now at 6190, 123 points. So we'll call it 120. We should be getting, divided by 4, that's 30 points. We're doing 30 points of songs a day. That's good. Still a triple experience day. This is one where I would probably consider doing a job as opposed to, or busking. Busking is really our best bet. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, we don't have any lawns that are mowed though. We have no place to busk. So just make a mental note of that. You can run into that. Let's go ahead and let's go to Donovan's Deluxe Music for 2 reasons. First, let's repair our instruments. We're going to need to be selective. We don't have a ton of money. Refurbishing bumps up the second number as well as the first number is what happens. Repair just bumps the first number to the second number. And we want to focus on things that are more important for gigging in that. Also, band members will pay for their stuff out of their own pocket first, but once they're out of money, it will come out of band cash. So this won't cost the band anything, and that's kind of good to know. Her guitar is repaired. His bass, Chad, his funds are the band's funds, so he will never have personal money. Kiwi's instruments, we're going to get this one fixed, and the value of the instrument often dictates the cost of repairs. That's just the way it is. But you'll also notice that Grandpa's synth, very, very cheap. And let's go ahead and do a refurbish on that just to see how that works. And it disappeared because its condition is no longer under 100. It's now equal to 100, so it vanishes from this particular screen. That's just something to notice. All right, what else can we do? Well, we probably should get these all fixed while we can. Still at $2,000 plus. Yeah, actually, these aren't too bad, and band members are paying for a lot of it. If we repair everything, it's only going to cost us you know what? I'm okay with that. Individuals will pay for $300 of stuff. We'll pay for $344. Let's do that. Everything is at its maximum condition now, so that's cool. Next step, while we're here, I always like to look to see if I can improve my strings, and that one I can. As you can see, these arrows down here show us that I would improve by 1 in playing if I buy these strings, and 1 in stage presence. Now, it's not just buying it, it's buying it and using them. So I usually start at the bottom because the more expensive ones tend to have better bonuses. However, that is not a hard and fast rule. In fact, what we are seeing is the best one was only $7. So I'm going to buy a few of those. You will use them. As you can see, the quality has dropped on these because I've been using them. I have 3 of those, but the system is smart enough. It will use the one that makes the most sense first. I do like that very much. Kiwi doesn't have any of those kind of disposables, so keep that in mind about your keyboard player, and I believe your lyricist, if you have one of those as well, it's the same idea. They get microphones that they can buy, and then I think they also do have amps and effects. The drummer has a couple of consumables. Those are the drumsticks and the drum heads and the cymbals. Cymbals are quite a bit more expensive though. And like I said, I tend to start at the bottom and work my way up. And then right now, because I can't buy everything I want, I'm probably going to go with playing first and then stage presence. I'm kind of prioritizing those first. And then beyond that, writing music is probably the least of my worries right this second, particularly for him. For Kiwi, maybe a little more important since she's kind of our star writer. And then drum heads. Well, apparently he has stage presence too with the drum heads he has right now, because this is not showing us that it would be an improvement. And if you run out of one of these consumables, you will not be able to do the task. I mean, if you literally run out completely for a particular task, you will have to go buy some before you can do anything. That is something to consider. And then finally, cymbals. Cymbals are very expensive. I'm very careful about the cymbals I buy, although at $500, that's coming out of his pocket entirely. Those are really good numbers. We're taking that. In fact, we're going to go ahead and take 2 of those. That will last him quite a while. And then finally, we're going to go to Angel and her guitar strings. And no bonuses there for her at all. How is she doing on guitar strings? She's got 9 different sets right now. So she's okay. She's not going to run out anytime soon. All right. The other reason we were going in here, I just remembered, was there was a help wanted. I let some businesses around town borrow my extra cables, but they haven't returned them. Can you go get them? You'll earn $400. That's not a bad job. Let's do it. And we'll earn that little bit of experience times 3. That's really the reason we were going to go do this, is we want that 3 times bonus. In practice, I don't worry about the 3 times bonus that much for the side jobs, because once you're past level 10 or 12, it isn't enough to really, you're starting to get to where you're producing songs and putting them on CDs, and that earns you like 4,000 experience points. And we're talking about trying to squeeze out an extra 75 points here. So just, again, risk and reward. How much time do you want to spend on it? But I thought we would at least demonstrate the process. So we're almost done. As you note, this one had 6 stops, not just 5. And then we'll need to return home. Whoa. Okay, there we go. And we have talked in the past, but there are 3 levels of music stores. There's discount, there's, we'll call it standard, and I went a block further than I had to, and then there is deluxe. They charge different for their services. The repairs, I think, do tend to be more at the deluxe store. That's something we maybe should have considered. But that's all right. We didn't spend that much. Please park your van, because it was drifting just a little. They spilled beer on half of these. Well, that's not my fault. And let's see, we're getting, we got 200 experience points for each of those. So that was worth doing. That one was worth doing, and that made it 600 experience points each. That's not too bad. That was a bump of 400 per person, and we got paid. So good on us. Let's go home and finish out this day with some practice. Now, we should be seeing these go up a little more now, because we bought a couple of things that improved our playing. I think we're going to get 10 points. I think this song goes to 100. And it did. So you'll notice its color changes. That means it won't improve anymore. And when you have more difficult songs, that will happen below 100 until your playing skill is better. So do keep that in mind. But there we have it. It is Monday, January 30th. We are going to cut here, and we will come back in the next episode and prepare for our Battle of the Bands that is coming up here at the end of the week. I'm looking forward to that. Hope you'll join me for that episode. And until then, fair travels.